Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in this video today, I am talking to a very, very special guest. It is former Tampa Bay Buccaneers edge defender, and really just all around do a defensive player for the Buccaneers, Daniel Grzesiak. Daniel, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, bro. How about yourself?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I'm excited to talk to you today because you've had a really interesting football journey, in my opinion, just regarding all the different places you've played, your journey getting into the NFL, playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year. It's great insight, man. It's great insight. So I'm very, very excited to talk with you today. And I wanted to start off with this. So you just spoke for a moment. You're back home in LA. Okay. You came out of high school in LA. Honestly, high school, in California sounds pretty cool. I think that California is pretty underrated whenever we talk about guys coming out of California. Firstly, what's your thoughts and opinions on that?
Um, I think California is a top three state in football. I feel like a lot of good ball players come there. I feel like do get a lot of hate because a lot of people say guys from California are a little soft.
Hmm.
You know, uh, I can see it some ways, but no, I feel like California is definitely top three in football states.
Yeah, because
A lot of people, a lot of people don't agree with that, but
it's got to be up there, right? I feel like everybody does talk about like Florida, Texas, maybe some of those like Midwestern states and stuff like that. But like when you really do sit down and think about not just like obviously the high school players coming out of California, but also like the universities and just the high level play up there or over there as well. Like, yeah, I agree with you. I think it's underrated. I really do think it's underrated. So anyway, you came out of high school in LA. You had played defense a lot of your time in high school. And one thing that was so interesting to me was that you decided to go to Nevada to join the Wolfpack there. I'm curious what went into that decision because for me, like when I think about just geographically, right? Like, yeah, the weather is probably the same, right? But definitely big differences between being in LA, being in California versus going over to Nevada. So, what went into that decision?
well, I was about to go to JUCO because I didn't have no offers, so I actually walked on.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I walked on over there, we had a coach. His name is Eric Scott. He played at UCLA. He coached at Crenshaw High School, and then he was a coach at LA High. And then he actually went over to Nevada, and he recruited a lot of guys like Romeo Dubs, Dayon Henley, Cole Turner. Like we all played, and then we all went to Nevada because of him. So that was mainly the main reason why I went over there.
Were you familiar with him, like just from like hearing different things and whatnot? Were you familiar with him before joining Nevada?
So his brother coached me. I didn't really know him, but his
Oh,
brother
okay.
coached. Yeah, his
Okay.
brother
So you
coached
did have
me.
some tie there to the head coach over there in Nevada.
Yeah, it was the receiver coach actually,
Oh, the
Eric Scott.
receiver coach. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
that's awesome, man. That's awesome. And one thing that I thought was super interesting to me, and maybe this does kind of dive into that like connection that you had with the wide receivers coach over there at Nevada. So when I was doing research about your college career, and I'm so curious to talk about this, was um your first year in Nevada, you were listed as a tight end. Is that true?
Yeah, I played tight end. It was like my first 2 years I was playing tight end.
What went into that decision to go from defense to offense there?
I showed up on campus and I ain't have a position. I just showed up and I was gonna go to the running back room. Like I was gonna play whatever. And then they was like, nah, go play tight end. And then I played tight end my first 2 years.
Okay, that's interesting to me. And then like obviously the flip side of that then, so playing tight end, then going back to the defensive side of the ball, what caused that switch back?
I think it was after the first. So I got on scholarship when I was in 2019 when I started playing,
Hmm.
and then after I was just like I don't know, I don't think tight end for me because I was really just like a special teams player. I had some reps to tight end though, but I was like nah, like I'm a D, like I play defense. I like DN linebacker, so I moved to linebacker, and then my Brian Ward, the DC, actually moved me back to DN. So
Okay, that's interesting. So was it something that you had brought up to them like, "Hey, I'd like to go back to the defensive side of the ball," or was it something where they approached you and said, "Hey, we do want you to go back to the defensive side of the ball"?
nah, I told him, and my head coach wanted to keep me at tight end, Jay Norvell, but I was like, nah, bro. Like, I want to move. Like, I don't.
Do you do you feel like that time at tight end helped you?
I think it did because it made me realize the importance of special teams.
Sure, sure.
I was really like kick like because I was a special teams player. So
And like obviously as like a defensive end and a linebacker, do you feel like it helped you like kind of understand more like your, because sometimes there's situations obviously where you're going up against a tight end in like a block set or coverage or something like that. Do you feel like it helped you in that aspect too of like, okay, I know what to expect from these guys a little bit more now?
I think it did, and especially like in the blocking scheme because like when you got to line up in a C gap and you got a guy that's like slanting, it's harder to block than a guy like going straight up on you. So I did a really good job like in college like going against tight ends because it's easier than going against a lineman.
Yeah. Yeah, no, no, I agree 100%. Yeah, obviously, right? I mean,
Yeah.
there's a size difference too. Um, so you spent 3 years in Nevada, okay? It was pretty decent time, right? You guys were winning some games. You were putting up some stats there in that third year. You had 2 sacks, I think, in 2020, 5.5 sacks in 2021. What kind of made it all kind of click there in that third year in Nevada? Was it just getting more reps in at the defensive side of the ball?
I think yeah, just reps and I was just comfortable playing defensive end. I feel like I was just comfortable and I was really more like just a pass rush player, and they just let me go. And we had a good team too, so that always makes it easier.
Yeah, I mean, like again, like you guys were 8-5 in 21, and 7-2 in 2020, 7-6 in 2019. Like you guys were playing some good ball, right? Whenever you think back on those guys, because like you had some dogs on that team, like Carson Strong was on that team. He would go on to do some stuff. Like you mentioned, Romeo Dubs was crazy on that team. On the defensive side of the ball, you had some guys in there as well, like a Sam Hammond and stuff like that.
Damn,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Tyson Williams was there.
yeah.
I'm curious. Are there any guys that you kind of still keep in contact with from your Nevada days?
Oh yeah, I talked to we all in the group chat. Cole, Romeo, Dayon, Elijah Cooks, a lot of guys. Reagan, bro. I talked to a lot of all those guys. Nevada, that was probably my most fun like college experience, like college team.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So that makes this question then a little bit more I guess maybe important to ask then. So like in 22 you decided to transfer to Utah State. I'm curious about what went into that decision to transfer after having like mentioned like it's a lot of fun in Nevada. There's some success there. Like what went into that decision to go over to Utah State?
Um, I really just I when our head coach left, I was just like, I think it's time for something new.
Okay.
Head coach leaving, a lot of players left. I think like we lost like 45, maybe even 50 players. And I was just
Wow.
like, I think it's time to just start something new. Like it's a change of scenery, you
Mm-hmm.
know. I got
Sure.
my degree from Nevada. I was grad transfer, so I was like, all right, I think it's time for something new. So
So it was maybe more of a situation of like, hey, I feel like I've kind of hit my ceiling here in Nevada. Like this is fun. Like I'm having a good time here, but and it happens, right? I mean, not just in football, but any profession really. Like sometimes it's just like, hey, I'm gonna go see what happens on the other side here in terms of like opportunities and whatnot.
yeah, facts. That was it was just like it was time. I think I was good. I did. Nevada was it was enough. Especially when I see everybody leaving, I was like, okay, I think it's my turn. My time too.
hmm and I
And then it
mean,
worked out.
yeah, yeah, I was gonna say it worked out beautifully. I mean, I mean,
Yeah.
I mean that year at Utah State was your best year of college ball. Like I know the record wasn't necessarily the best. You guys did go 5-3 in the conference, but I mean, for you individually, far and away your best year in college ball. Like 8.5 sacks, 13 tackles for loss. Like the change of scenery paid off in spades. So I'm curious, like that year at Utah State. How did that happen? And then second part of this question is, do you feel like that was like the best version of, hey, this is what I can show at the college level?
Um. All right. First question.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
let's let's break it down first.
Number one, my coaches at Utah State, they just let me go. Like I was playing, I was playing DN, and they would just let me go. Like I could go inside, I could lose contain. Like it was just go make a pressure, go get a TFL, go get a sack. So and I had a ton of reps too. So
Mm-hmm.
I was like I was real comfortable. Like It was real fun. It was real. They made me feel real comfortable. And then yeah, I think that was the best. I was best me because I wasn't. It was a straight ball. It wasn't no other thing in my head. Like I was
Hmm.
just playing ball, just having fun.
Yeah, and like you said, like best version of you. Obviously, that paid off in terms of making that move. Now, after that season at Utah State, you decided to transfer to Cincinnati. What went into that decision? Was it a different feeling from whenever you transferred from Nevada over to Utah State? Kind of talk about that for me as well.
I made the decision to transfer because I wanted to play. I wanted to play like big time football. Like I
Mhm.
know a lot of scouts was like, oh, like he an undersized player or whatever. So I was like, all right, like I want to go play some big time football. And then Cincinnati was cool. It was cool. It was just I didn't have as much opportunity as I had at Utah State. I was playing more a boundary linebacker, kind of dropping a lot. Like I think my pat like I didn't get as many opportunities to rush the passer as I did at Utah State. Utah State I was getting like 30, 40 a game. I think in Cincinnati I was getting like 7 or 8. I wasn't
Wow.
getting that.
So
Yeah, I was
they were treating you more like a off-ball linebacker type of deal.
yeah, I was like we played a 3-4, so we had more of a I was more of like an outside backer, I want to say. Big nickel.
Hmm. Yeah.
I want to say. So I like it though. It helped me cover. Like that's how I really learned how to when I got to the Bucs, I got better, but I really learned how to cover at Cincinnati because I didn't know how to drop it all before I got there. So it was cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say so. Like, obviously, like for you being, your role as a pass rusher, right, going into the next level of the NFL. Um, obviously, of course, you want to go after and get after the quarterback. Utah State gave you that opportunity. It is kind of crazy though, like you said, like how you describe it of how everything kind of like works its way out because Cincinnati, like you said, helped you more drop back more and kind of how Todd Bowles schematically does things. Like sometimes he expects his pass rushers to drop back in coverage more. So whenever you got
Oh
to
yeah.
Tampa and it was like kind of a similar thing, you were like, oh wow, like in that moment at Cincinnati, I wasn't as on board with it, but now it's like, wow, that actually helps me out a lot. Do you agree with that?
Nah, I do agree with that because Coach Bowles, everybody dropping. You got to know,
Yep.
man, court. You gonna drop everyone on the field. I remember Joe was my Joe Charles. He was one of my good friends. He was like, man, one game I was playing safety. But that's what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? You got to be versatile. So yeah, I like it.
Awesome. And like you said, obviously like the biggest change from going to Utah State to Cincinnati was that bigger play. Okay, like going from the Mountain West Conference to the Big 12. Did you notice any major changes when switching those conferences?
Um, I say the linemen were a little bit bigger, but now it was really all the same. It
Okay.
was really all the same football for real.
Okay. Interesting. Huh. Now coming out of college, as you said, you went undrafted. You joined the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm curious what went into that decision to join Tampa Bay.
I remember so during the draft process, I had a good pro day. I know I ran pretty fast, and we had a couple teams. I was like, oh, he a good athlete. Ooh, ooh. So at the end of the draft, or so it was like the seventh round,
Okay.
we had a couple teams calling my agent, and I don't know. He really just made a decision. Like, it was like the Bucks is best fit, so that's why I just listened to him, and I was like, all right, we're going with Bucks then.
Right? Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm curious, like, if you could mention it, like, did you know what those other teams were interested in, or who that were interested in you? I guess I should say.
Yeah, it was a lot of four down teams actually, like the Texans, the Jets, and was it the Cardinals? I think it was like three other teams. I
Okay.
forgot.
Okay. Very
Yeah,
cool. And
but he
I'm
said the Bucks was the best fit.
Yeah, I mean, especially like given, of course, your versatility, right, in terms of playing D end, maybe a little bit of like 3-4 outside linebacker stuff like that. When you got to Tampa and started learning that defense from Todd Bowles, was it kind of that feeling of like, oh yeah, like this does feel like the best fit for me?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. It
Okay.
was the same stuff. Walk down Hollywood. We use the same lingo like we did at Cincinnati.
Hmm.
Same terminology.
I gotcha. Interesting. Now, in that 2024 season, you spent the year on the practice squad. You did mention JTS. First question I have for you about last year was who were some guys that you really connected with and learned from throughout that 2024 season?
So training camp and OTAs, I was in the outside backer room. So, Yaya, Jose, all the outside backers for real.
Mm-hmm.
Yaya, Jose, Mark Watts, JT Nelly, all the outside backers was cool. And then when I went to I got moved during the season to inside, and I got tight with Levante. Levante was my dog.
Yeah.
Um, Debo, Deion Jones,
Mm-hmm.
Greer. I got tight with those are like my main guys. And then on offense, I want to say like Devin Cope and J Mac. Those are my
Okay.
guys too. Yeah,
Okay. Awesome.
yeah,
See,
those are my guys too.
that's interesting too for a guy like just like Deion Jones, for example, because he came to the team so late. So what do you think kind of went into that like clicking with him so quickly?
He just a funny dude. He's just a good dude. He a good dude. He a good person to learn from. So it was good to it was crazy because like I've watched him, I've watched Levante, so it was cool to like be in the same room with them.
Hmm.
Because it's like, damn, I was watching you when I was in high school.
Yeah, I was gonna say, was it a little bit of like obviously obviously there's a point where it's like okay you get over that, right, is what I've always heard, like eventually like you do get over it, but whenever you did get in there in those moments you're like oh there's Mike Evans over there and like oh there's Vita Vea and Levante David and stuff like that. Did you ever have those types of feelings about any players?
Yeah, I did. Especially all of everybody you just mentioned. I was like, wow, that's crazy. I'm playing the same field with them. And then it was crazy to see him like on game day, watch him play, make plays. It was wild. It was wild for real.
Hmm.
But then you get used to it, and then it's like, okay, I'm trying to be like that.
Right, you're like okay more like locked in so to speak.
Yeah.
Now, one thing you did mention, which I think is interesting, which I didn't know, was whenever you said you obviously when you first joined the team, you were an outside 3-4 pass rushing linebacker, and then you transitioned to the inside. How did that transition come about? Was it something they approached you with? Um, let's start off with that. Just describe how that transition came about.
It was after training camp was over. Coach Bowles was like, I wanna move you to inside backer because he coached Frankie Louvu at
Hmm.
when it was in New York, and he was just like, oh, y'all got like the same body type, like you could drop, so we want to move you. And then I spent the rest of the year in there
Okay.
and then learning that.
And was it a like struggle, so to speak, just in terms of like moving from the outside to the inside and like being more of a traditional inside linebacker?
I'll probably say my first couple practices, yeah, because on top of that, I had to relearn the whole playbook. But
Right.
towards the end of the year, I got it. And like when I went home after the season and I got to learn the playbook, I was playing Madden too. I was playing Madden NCAA.
Hmm.
It came to me and I was like, dang, like I got it. So it actually helped my football knowledge, I want to say a lot.
Okay, awesome. Because
I see why a lot of like defensive coordinators are linebacker coaches because you got to know the whole everything everybody doing.
oh yeah, I mean, and typically when you think of like inside linebackers, like typically you're the guys who are relaying the plays to the defense in terms of like communication and stuff like that. So for you, did you kind of take it like to where it's more of like, hey, for me as an inside linebacker now, not only do I have to understand my assignments, I have to know everybody's assignments because I'm in the middle of the defense right now.
Yeah, facts. That's when I got moved, I really started hitting the playbook hard. It was just hard, like not really getting like a full year down on it. But towards the end of the year, I really got to it when I had to go back, look at some film. I watched a lot of Levante's film,
Yeah.
uh, and I ended up getting it.
Was that something where like you leaned on guys like Deion Jones, Levante, and stuff like that of like, hey, picking their brains and kind of having questions for them?
Yep, I was texting. I remember I was texting Dion at this last OTA too. I was texting Dion a lot, like, "Hey, what you doing right here?" Woo, and he would always hit me right back. Well, his thoughts.
That's awesome. That's awesome,
Yeah,
man. Like, shout out Deion Jones, man. what a,
yeah, Joe, good dude, man. He a good dude,
that's
great
awesome.
dude.
So I got two more questions for you here, Daniel. So one guy that you mentioned who is really interesting, and I'm curious to get your thoughts on, is Yaya. Now you said you learned a good bit from Yaya last year. what did you see from him throughout that 2024 season? Because I know there was a lot of like different just thoughts and opinions. And for you, as a guy who literally played with the guy, like, what was your insight on Yaya, just in terms of like how he did throughout that 2024 season and what you expect from him going forward?
Yaya, he is one of the hard. Like he's one guy. He would never like turn down a workout, extra work or anything. Like Yaya is he gonna be all pro because just the way he carry himself. Like I see him get extra work in the weight room. We go to the same person to get like rehab. I'll see him getting rehab, getting needles in his neck and his back. I'm like, dang, Yaya, like you about to do a fight or something? Like you good? But nah, he works extremely hard, and it's good to see because him and Jose, we always used to go like get extra lifts in and stuff, and yeah, he's a freak. Y'all see that he Yaya's a freak. So he's one player I say he's gonna be all pro.
I spoke to him earlier this offseason. I remember I asked him, where we just talked about like his inhuman strength, really. Is it as ridiculous in person just seeing the dude lift and just like this dude's freaking jacked?
It's crazy. Yaya. But I like it though because when I lift with Yaya, I try to compete with him.
Yeah.
And some days I'm not gonna say I'm lifting with him, but some days I got close. So
That's awesome, man. Now, Daniel, I got one more question for you. Okay,
all right.
I'm curious about the next steps in your football journey. Because obviously, right now you're a free agent. I think the sky's the limit for you. I think that you have a lot of different opportunities and things that you can do here with your career, be it in like the NFL, be it maybe the UFL, maybe coaching. Kind of what's been on your mind of like what next steps you want to take for your football career.
I've just been staying in shape, just trying to get in the best shape possible. I still, what I'm saying, still pursuing the NFL dream.
Hmm.
Just waiting on just waiting on that call. And I could play outside backer, inside backer, special team. So I'm just waiting to go put a helmet on again. So once I do that, ready to show my what I could do.
I love it, man. I love it. Well,
Yeah.
Daniel, hey, thank you so much for sitting down with me and talk with me, man. It's greatly appreciated. Where can the people find you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram at DG underscore run it up 9. And yeah, just find me on the gram. Oh, Twitter too. Same login. Same.
Right on, right on. Well, guys,
Yeah.
hey, thank you so much for watching this interview. It's greatly, greatly appreciated. What do you guys think about what me and Daniel talked about? Let us know your thoughts and opinions about all of it, about Daniel's football career, and where you want to see him go next. It's very exciting times here, man. It's very, very exciting times. But Daniel, hey, thank you so much for being on. It's greatly, greatly appreciated. And guys, as always, we will see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.
Appreciate you, bro.
Of course.